It is therefore quite understandable how the decline and corruption of the mysteries could be considered as an assault upon the body of a god. Just as Serapis was broken from his wonderful pedestal and smashed to 1,000 bits, so the ancient system of learning, which was the essential principle of united knowledge, was torn from its ancient sacred footing, cast down, destroyed, broken, scattered by the embodiment of three powers of darkness, powers that we call ignorance, superstition, and fear. It is the ignorance of the mass, the superstitions of false faith, of the fear of temporal power. These are the things that gradually corrupted and destroyed the great institutions of learning, martyred the teachers, crucified, poisoned, murdered, until the wonderful system of mystery initiation was no more, destroyed and corrupted, so that the temple was brought down like the house of the Philistines, and Samson, the sun god, died in the destruction of the house which he pulled down with his own hands.
If this venture to rebuild the temple upon the mount matures, the implications, ladies and gentlemen, are more than enormous. Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, and 11, verse 31, and 12, verse 11, and Matthew 24, verse 15, all indicate that the third temple must be built before the middle of the tribulation so that the beast can set up his image in the Holy of Holies. You see, you're all saying that Christ is going to appear any moment. He can't appear. Nothing can happen until the temple is rebuilt, and I've been trying to tell you this over and over and over again. Stop listening to the deceivers behind your pulpits. They're not telling you the truth. The Orthodox Jews believe, however, that the third temple will be built by the Messiah. If so, their Messiah cannot be Jesus Christ, for the third temple, the tribulation temple, must be built before the Jews recognize Christ as Messiah. According to Zechariah chapter 13, verses 8 and 9, and chapter 14, verses 1 through 9, the Jews will not accept the Savior in that capacity until the end of the tribulation. Therefore, the Messiah of the Jews, who will build the tribulation temple, according to the New Testament, will be a false Messiah. It can be no other way. According to the Old Testament, he will be a false Messiah. It can be no other way. Isaiah chapter 28, verses 15 through 18, when compared with Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, appears to confirm that the Jews will accept the Antichrist, or the apocalyptic beast, as the Messiah. Oddly, Isaiah's descriptive terminology of the beast is suggestive of Freemasonry, to which the Jews will apparently attach themselves by treaty in the last days. Quote, "We have made a covenant with death," says Isaiah, "and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves." End quote. Nothing, no sentence, no group of words on this earth could more better describe Freemasonry than what I have just read to you. God's judgment against Freemasonry is also pronounced by Isaiah in Carpenter's terminology. Quote, "Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hall shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand." End quote. When we recall that the apocalyptic beast is given the names death and hell in Revelation chapter 6, verses 7 through 8, we can clearly see that the covenant Israel makes with death and hell is a covenant with the beast. Daniel chapter 9, verse 27 gives the duration of and purpose for Israel's covenant. It is a 7-year treaty that will first permit the Jews to build the tribulation temple and then to reinstate animal sacrifice. Perhaps at this time the Priory of Sion will return Solomon's treasures to the temple. The treaty, however, will be broken in the middle of the 7 years, when the Templar beast places his own image in the temple. Remember, the base religion of these people is secular humanism, wherein man himself is God. So what will be placed in the temple? Man will be established as God.
As Passover approaches, Jewish extremist groups have again pledged to take over the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound under the protection of Israeli security forces. Palestinians view the move as a violation of the status quo. The Jordanian Waqf, or Islamic Trust, that manages the compound, has criticized the planned incursions.
Every holiday that passes for the Jews, tensions and violations occur, and this is unacceptable. Everyone has his own holiday, so it's not permissible to mix and merge Jewish holidays with the blessed Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Even though Jewish worshippers are not allowed to pray, many usually do. It's a way to establish a presence inside the compound. We are inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, where ultra-nationalist and extremist Jewish settlers are planning to storm Al-Aqsa in large numbers during the Jewish Passover holiday. They're also planning to slaughter 5 red cows. Slaughtering a red cow is believed by Jewish extremists to be a divine commandment that paves the way for the building of the third temple, replacing the Dome of the Rock. Sheikh Sabri warns that allowing Jewish groups onto the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound to perform any rituals is an unacceptable provocation and could spark widespread outrage and inflame tension.
As for the issues of the red cow, this is a matter related to their beliefs, and we have nothing to do with it or Al-Aqsa's relationship with it. We demand that the issue of cows be kept away from the issue of Al-Aqsa.
The war on Gaza has entered its 7th month with no end in sight, and one reason for the Hamas attack on southern Israel is hardly mentioned. In a speech, Hamas military brigade spokesman Abu Ubaida blames the Jews for bringing red cows to the Holy Land. Israel imported 5 red heifers back in 2022, and some Jews and Christians believe the key to rebuilding the so-called Jewish temple is to hasten the arrival of the Messiah.
It is clear that the presence of the current extremist government led by Ben-Gvir is one of the major instigators against Al-Aqsa and Al-Haram al-Sharif. If this matter happens, there will be a major attack on Al-Aqsa Mosque and are preludes to seizing it.
Calls to storm the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound are championed by a small number of extremist groups, but the entire situation could spiral out of control, sparking widespread outrage and anger. Mohammed Al-Qasim, TRT World, Occupied East Jerusalem.
Now, man, according to the ancient philosophies, in the Mithraic rituals, and of course Mithras is another solar deity, who, overcoming the vernal equinox in Taurus, slew the bull and bathed itself in the blood of the bull and became strengthened, or became the hero as a result. This was also an astronomical mythos. Perhaps it is this Mithraic rite of the slaying of the bull and the bathing in the blood of it that was the origin of the red shoes of Julius Caesar. For it is said that before Caesar could go into the temple of the deity and act as Pontifex Maximus, or high priest, he first had to rush home and put on his red shoes. Without his red shoes, he could not enter the temple. The red shoes probably came from the feet of the priests who were present at the slaughter of the bull, and therefore whose feet were reddened with the blood of sacrifice. By the time of Caesar, this practice was not carried on, but the red shoes lingered, like a great many other symbols. And wherever red occurs in vestments of clergy, it represents or is related to sacrifice or to martyrdom.
In today's day,
Where is the most danger place for Jewish people? Go all around the world. All the world, you will come to one point, the middle of the world. This is the state of Israel. It is the most danger place for Jewish people. Jews live peacefully here in England. I live in England already 36 years. I don't know how an English soldier looks like. I never saw them. In Israel, every small child knows all the weapons, all the soldiers, tanks, all military vehicles. This is safeness. This is the most dangerous place for the Jewish people. 7th of October didn't start on 7th of October. It started in 1948 on the 15th of May. It started by the Nakba for the Palestinians. This happened when they want to cover up their killings, the genocide, with more killings. When you control a people, a large amount of people, of 2 million people, when to have electricity, when not, when to have water, and when not. This is the outcome. Zionism is basically built up on mistrusting God. Don't believe in God. Don't trust God. From the other side, Judaism is built up on trusting in God. The state of Israel is a rebellion against God, and they will not succeed. They will come to an end.
And to meet this mystery and to solve the secret of it, the ancients devised their tremendous culture of mystery rituals. These were the sacred dramas and sacred ceremonies which were undertaken by those who desired to journey back into the light of the God. Always, therefore, in the Holy of Holies, or the Sanctum Sanctorum of the house, in the deepest part of the temple, was a sun symbol of some kind. A symbol of life, a symbol of power. One of the earliest of these sun symbols was the cross, because, as Plato points out, the Logos, or the creating power, impressed itself in the form of a cross at the time when it first began the building of worlds. It impressed itself upon creation in the great signature or seal of the cross. Thus in the temples we find these symbols, symbols of the attainment of man on his journey home.